In this video, I'm going to show you very quickly how you can use Descript to get transcriptions from your videos, from your podcasts, or even from, voice memos or ramblings or meetings that you might have, right? Now, there's many reasons for why you might be doing this. You could actually use that transcript, put it into ChatGPT, ask it to analyze it, or you could give it to a team member or an editor where, they can look at it and you've highlighted the best moments or the best parts that you want them to work on. So transcription technology really saves you a lot of time day to day, no matter what you're doing. And so I want to show you very quickly how you can do this in Descript. So first of all, what you're going to do is drag and drop your file into your timeline, right? I've already done this so that it's already populated. But basically, if you have a podcast episode where you have multiple speakers, it would ask you to identify those speakers. And it's actually kind of, worth doing at that point, because when you export the transcript, you can easily see the differentiation between two speakers. But for this video, I'm going to show you, if you skip that step, how would you go back and do it later, right? So once your transcription has been actually populated, you're going to come over here into the top area where it says add speaker, and you're basically going to hit detect speakers, right? Now, the main thing here is that there is just one speaker, but if there were two, you would highlight that. I'm just going to hit unsure, okay? So now what it's doing is it's actually going ahead and detecting the speaker. I'm mainly going to be putting in my name here, okay? So that's one of the first things that you'll typically do is add your name and the name of any speaker that might be in the video. You're going to tap this identify speakers prompt at the bottom here, and then it says the speaker detective has found multiple speakers in this file, but who are they? Listen to each speaker and identify them. There's actually only one speaker, but I'm going to put in my name, Misbah. That's it. If you need to adjust the speaker label, simply drag and drop. Perfect. So as you can see now, throughout the whole video, let's say there was another speaker. I'll actually show you real quick a podcast episode that I did where this was the case. So Dr. Julie here, for example, every time she speaks, you can see it has a little purple heading versus every time I speak, there's a little green header, right? So this makes it super easy to kind of scan and identify, okay, let's capture the moment where Dr. Julie is talking, right? So, okay, let's say that I've done that. Now that the speakers are all set and labeled, there's two things that you could do. Number one, you go ahead and further refine some of this text, right? So I could, remove the filler words. I could shorten word gaps. I could do all of that good stuff if I want to. But typically, I don't use that because I put it into ChatGPT afterwards. So since I'm going to clean some of this up in ChatGPT, I don't need to remove filler words and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go straight to the publish button in the top right corner. I'm going to tap on export, and I'm going to hover over to transcript. Okay, here I'm going to leave markdown as markdown if I'm just trying to copy and paste on my clipboard, right? But if you wanted an actual document, you would select this and, toggle down to Microsoft Word here. The next thing is if you made any markers throughout this as you were going and you kind of made headings and things like that, you could keep those included. Include speaker labels. I definitely like to have speaker labels on, especially when there are multiple speakers, because when it comes to ChatGPT identifying certain things, it makes it way easier, obviously, to do that. The next thing is speaker labels on every paragraph. I like to keep this off because that can be a little bit excessive. And then the next thing is time code. So if you tap on this here, you could make the interval longer if you wanted, right? Where it's like, okay, every 2 or 3 minutes, you're getting a timestamp. But really, it doesn't hurt to keep it at 60 seconds because, again, you could put this into ChatGPT and get it cleaned up, right? So I'm going to leave it at 60 seconds. Paragraph breaks, I do like that. I like the speaker labels. I want to keep that on. So I'm not going to tweak anything else further here, right? Now, all you got to do, you don't hit export for this one. What you're going to do is just hit copy to clipboard. As soon as you tap copy to clipboard, you're good to go. And the way we're going to test this is go right into ChatGPT. So in ChatGPT, what I'm going to do is paste this transcript. Typically, I like to be like, hey, this is a transcript from a podcast episode. Could you clean up the text so that it is ready for a blog post, for example. Remove filler words and whatnot, but do not change my actual language or tone. The reason I like to do that is so that it doesn't try to be like, hey, here's a cooler version of what you said, and it sounds nothing like me, and it is not cooler. So typically I give it that disclaimer. Okay, Shift Enter, put a little dash there, and now I'm going to hit paste. So as you can see, this is a 22-minute video, right? And I was able to paste all of these words directly into this. Now, what's even more impressive is the fact that you can put in an hour-long transcript. Remember, that wasn't the case before. There were limits on how much text it could actually understand and absorb. But now there really is, you won't have an episode that's so long that it can't probably take it. So that's pretty cool, is you can have a whole hour-long thing that goes into here and it's no issue. All right, let's hit enter, see what it gives us. Right, we'll scroll down. And as I'm scrolling down, you can actually see, right, like this is what the transcript looks like for the most part. Okay, and then if I needed that for a blog post like I requested in here, obviously I would want to remove all of these time codes and clean it up a tiny bit more, right? So now let's take a look. This is the revised version that it just gave me, right? The power, gave me some subheads. Okay, nice. And as you're reading through this, you can see how it's actually pretty good. It hasn't changed up too much of how I'm actually speaking in the video, which is really nice. And then here's another prompt that you could give ChatGPT. You could go, hey, what are the best moments from this video that I should turn into clips? And let's see what it tells you. Because remember, you've given it the total transcript with the time codes, right? So it can then recognize those timestamps and tell you, hey, these are the moments. So as it's telling me here, the evolution of social platforms, right? From the 3-minute mark to 4:01, gives me a clip title, which is kind of cool. And it also highlights a little key point. If you invest your time and energy there and build on your work, okay, cool. So as you can see, it has just given me 10 different clip ideas. Not all of these might be perfect, right? But the fact is that it was able to do this based on the transcript alone. If you are marking this up for somebody else, right, you might paste this into your Notes app or something like that, or maybe into Notion. And then essentially what you do is you can mark it up and be like, hey, these are the actual moments that I would like to get a clip out of, right? So that sounds like a very small thing, but in the long run, it saves you a lot of time and a lot of revisions if you are working with, a production team, right? So you're telling them, hey, this is what I like. This is what I want to see a clip out of. That saves some guessing and back and forth, and the possibility of, people choosing a clip that you didn't want, for example. So as you can see, there are many different ways that you could be using this transcription technology. But as you can see, it's very easy to copy and paste, right? So once it transcribes everything for you, being able to go over here and copy it directly to your clipboard is definitely a convenient way to go. So I hope that helped in getting you a process for easily using Descript to kind of transcribe, copy, paste, and move on to the rest of your workflow for whatever you're going to be using this transcript for. So it can be as easy as that, right? If you're trying to use transcriptions in your workflow, I hope this helped. I hope it made it a little easier and less confusing to navigate Descript, because I know there's a lot of features inside here. Feel free to drop any questions. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear how you use transcriptions in your workflow, and if you have a way that you like to do it better. I know Adobe Premiere Pro has a great job being able to do this as well. Riverside does this. But one of the cool things that I like with Descript is the fact that I could take any file of me just rambling or whatever and put it in here, and the speed of it is actually very, very quick too, even for episodes and things that are like an hour or 2 hours long. So thanks for hanging out. I appreciate your time, and I will see you on the next one.